Listen, the first year with Meghan, she was fantastic. I travelled everywhere with them. She was a star. She engaged with the public. She did everything you'd expect a lady married into the royal family to do, and then suddenly it all changed. I don't think at the moment that's possible here. I think there's so much bad feeling with the book and the Oprah Winfrey and some of the Netflix things they've got in the pipeline. Maybe that's even more damaging things they're going to be saying, but I don't think she could turn up here with him and do a visit. I mean, she may be, but
I don't think she wants to.
I'm not she would.
What do you think? You're on the road.
Well, my personal view is that Harry is trying to. We might talk about this a little bit later in the show, but my personal view is that Harry is trying to make moves to come back and do more work in the UK. We know that he's been reaching out to friends. We know that he's been, not actually wanting to work as a full-time royal or a part-time royal, but he wants to spend more time in the UK. But he can't do that without Meghan. With Meghan, sorry. He can't come back with Meghan. She can't come back on engagement. So
that's
why he's
okay,
only
isn't
doing
it? That's okay. I mean, you don't have to do everything together because you're married.
No, but
my husband and I don't even have breakfast together. You know?
But you're going on holiday next week with him, aren't you? I mean, that's the difference, Jen, isn't it? You might not have breakfast with him but that's not the way it is. I mean, Camilla's with Charles on jobs, and Catherine, when she gets fit, she's with William on jobs. That's what royal couples do. One does one thing in one part of the world and another part. Now you can think, well, maybe they're not as cool as they were, but who knows? We don't know. Only two people know. That's them.
Yeah. You're right there, Arthur, because both the Queen and the King and William and Catherine, they present themselves as a team. I know William and Catherine haven't recently because Princess Wales has been unwell, but they present them as a team. Harry hasn't been presenting himself as a team in the last couple of weeks. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, well, the Duchess of Edinburgh, Sophie, I mean, she goes on lots of solo royal tours. We're not suddenly trying to say their marriage is in trouble, are we?
Well, look what places she goes to,
I think we should just stop trying to poke holes in a marriage which I have no idea, but I hope and it looks pretty happy.
Well, that's a real shame, Jenny, because we've got a whole big topic on that later. All right?
I'm a romantic at heart, that's the trouble. What do you think?
Well,
on a slim down monarchy?
Well, it poses the question, and I hate to keep returning to it, but whether they could have found a role for Harry and Meghan to have a half-in, half-out,
I
hybrid
think they
role.
could have. I think they misstepped there.
I'm not saying that I agree with you there, Jenny, by the way. I'm just posing it as a question.
Well, I thought that at the time. I thought, well, come on, Harry's saying, could we possibly do this? We don't want to be full-time, and my wife is American, and she'd like to spend time in America. I think they could have taken more time to try and find some kind of compromise. I didn't see it as totally untenable. The Queen clearly did. And that was the end of that. But I think it's rather sad, and I think it was rather short-sighted. Well,
I see the problem was that Harry and Meghan were so impetuous. They made that decision straight away. They posted it on Instagram, didn't they, the very night they had decided it before they'd really discussed it with the Queen. They chucked it out there and said that they kind of made the decision that they were leaving. They were being too quick. They were being too fast. If they'd just taken their time, sat down, had sensible conversations rather than running away, putting things on Instagram, we could have come up with a more kind of sensible solution.
Harry has said that they were talking about it for quite a long time beforehand. He was trying to find a way.
He wanted to live abroad. He wanted to live in New Zealand or South Africa and then have a Commonwealth role, I think.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I think it could have worked.
Do you think it was a misstep to not allow them to have half in, half out, knowing what we know now? There was
no choice. He was going, wasn't he? Meghan said, "We're going," and that was it. And as I say, he just made that decision and disappeared. And quite honestly, you can't be. It's his choice. He got every. He wanted to leave the royal family and he wanted to live in America with her, and that's his choice, and I think that's fair enough. But then go and start being really nasty about the royal family here, the pair of them. I thought that just to make money. I thought that was. I mean, the Duke of Windsor, when he quit as the king, he abdicated and he became the Duke of Windsor. He went abroad, but he never ever said anything bad about the royal family. He might have met Hitler, but he didn't say anything bad about the royal family. I don't know if there's any pictures of Harry here, but that typical that Usain Bolt picture. It was so muce fun that day. And then when he met the Jamaican Prime Minister, instead of saying, "Hello, ma'am, pleased to meet you," he just hugged her. And I said, "What do you do that for?" And he said, "Because my father said she likes a hug, so I thought I'd get in first." Aww. And that's what he was like. He was so much fun. And he went to met Bob Marley's wife, and she gave him Bob Marley's scarf, and there was kids there, and he was dancing with the kids, and he was wearing blue suede shoes, and he was fun. He was fun. He was exciting. And then we went to Brazil, and he playing football with the kids on the beach, and then he ran in a road race. And as he finished the race, he had a picture of William on his face. You know, he was fun, and he was surprising. And he used to say, "I'll do everything I can to make it good for you." And that's what shocked me, when he just cut us all dead that one time up in Manchester. I'll never forget it. And I was shocked, and it was just the day he met Meghan, or the day he fell in love with Meghan, and it's all changed since then. And I feel sad about that, because he was a fabulous person to work with.
Jenny, Harry is we often portray him as the fun, Jack the Lad when he was here in the UK. Does he overshadow other royals in that fun element? Do we claim that Harry is that fun, boisterous lad, when actually some of the other members of the royal family are also fun? They get up to things, don't they? I mean, what was the other day? I was at St James's Palace, and the king was dancing with the Samoan guy stripped down to the waist. The king got brought round, and they started doing a dance, and he started dancing. They get stuck in, don't they?
The New Zealand rugby team. He was with the female rugby team, and he gave them all a hug. Yes, I mean, Charles has always had a very good sense of humour, actually.
And he's a great dancer. I remember we were
I'm not sure about
that.
He
is a great... I know he's a great dancer, because I remember we were in India, and he went to this little community where part of one of his charities was to preserve water, and they built a dam. With his charity, built this dam, and they had enough water for 2 years, and they were doing a rain dance, and he did the rain dance with them, and he just didn't do it for 2 minutes. He did the whole lot, umbrella, everything. It was fantastic. Another time in the Amazon rainforest, dancing with a lady there.
Yeah, and put on those headdresses on that tour. He kept putting on different hats.
It was fantastic.
And when we got back on the plane to come back to the UK, was it you or anyway? It was one of the tabloid. I think it was Charlie Ray probably bought about 30 Rastafarian hats, and we all sat on the plane. And when Charles came on board, we were all sitting there in Rasta hats. And he came on and he laughed. He
is a good dancer. I mean, I've seen it. He really puts everything into it. He doesn't just play it, he just does it. He's really good.
I remember in Australia, after that scare, when he'd been shot at, and we were all flown on little tiny planes to a place called Fraser Island, which is a wonderful, tiny, have you been there? Tiny island off Brisbane, off the coast of Brisbane. And we were flown in a series of little planes. It was one of the joys of being a royal correspondent. And we had one day off in a long tour, it was about 3 weeks long. And we were staying in the same hotel as Charles. We were told he might come down for a drink, but he didn't that evening. But we had a bit of a good time, actually.
We had a bloody great party. That's why he didn't come down. He probably got no sleep. I remember.
We did karaoke.
We had a brilliant party,
ITM were really good at karaoke. They did do Ron Run, do Ron Run, do Ron. And their cameraman, big birdie bloke, was wearing the producer's silk dress.
Yeah, he was. That's right. Yeah.
And every time he got do Ron Run, he did a big somersault.
Fiona's
split
dress.
the dress.
Fiona Bear Murray's dress. Yeah, that green dress. Yeah.
And the BBC, we did a rather tame little. We're all going on summer holiday. It was really awful. But then we all got in the jacuzzi. Did you get in the jacuzzi?
No, I didn't
outside?
Get in the jacuzzi.
9 o'clock watershed, Jenny. You need to be careful here. Where we go with
No, we didn't
there
go in
were
the
bottles
jacuzzi.
of wine in the jacuzzi. It was
Everybody was well jarred up. Yeah.
It was absolutely fun. Oh, and there was Trevor Fishlock from the Telegraph and Alan Hamilton from the Times. Yeah. And Alan only had his underpants, white underpants, and he was in the jacuzzi. And as he got out, you could see his bum crack. And
thanks,
and
Jen.
Trevor looked at Alan and he said, well, you can tell it's the Times because it's got gravitas.